Alright guys, let's talk about some of the key differences that I think I noticed between Buddha and Jesus. As we all know, a lot of times we are looking to be happy in life. What I believe this really means is that we're looking for alignment to who we are. And let me tell you how this process works. As you, for example, buy a car, and the car was a BMW, and you learn they're not reliable, their transmissions suck, whatever. You knew nothing about cars before that, and now you're like, oh, this brand sucks, and you gain these values, and now you're gonna go out again in the market. You're not gonna look at the BMW the same way because your values have grown. There's a very simple reason to tell you why you're not happy in life is that because you have not found what is aligned with all the values you have gained. The problem in this world is you looked at the internet, which is an informationally dump of knowledge into your little silly brain. You're not used to this. You've never had education in your life. And now we'll continue to look for this alignment in the world. And that's what Jesus achieved. He had simply found the eternal alignment. I don't know if this was possible because of all the possible information that was available back in the day. Let's say, I feel like maybe he reached the informational cap of what is available. They were not growing that fast, because if you continue to grow for more, you have more values, your expectations of what happiness is continues to grow. Maybe I believe that Jesus found all those values in an idea which allowed him to act in fullness and to sacrifice himself, because it paid him in eternity, in happiness, and also in the external world, because they were aligned in every single way, almost in a truly beautiful manner. How I see Buddha, that's how Jesus is. He discovered his values and what he needed to do. He just not sit around, he did something. I'm pretty sure. He walked around, helped people, and told a king that he was doing something bad. That's as much as I know. And then he got crucified for it, because he was too cool, and he did something, and he found his alignment. Buddha, on the other hand, I believe, refused to participate in the game of alignment. Because I don't know what a very specific case with Jesus is that he found alignment, but I don't know if it's even possible to maintain that state of perfection. If he was such an imperfect man and he was able to understand the world in such a deep manner, or was it just times that allowed to be maybe limited values? But Buddha, and a lot of people, what happens is that you do continue to reach those points of peaks of where the happiness is, and you fall down the hill over and over and over again. You continue to grow. That's what the biggest problem is. Jesus somehow mastered, through his intellect or his ability, to learn all the values and become holy. Or maybe enough reflection. But we, like Buddha, continue to fail. We continue to reach for these stars, these beautiful ideas, and we reach them or fail them. We are just disappointed. And in his way, he did not choose to continue to pursue, because maybe he realized that all these logical ideas that come into your brain only lead to another fall, to another high, to another fall. And the truth he was seeking was already in him. Because the realization I believe he had is a very formal truth, that you are unhappy only because of the distance you have between your desires. And I believe maybe there's two ways in this world to really be enlightened, which would be really crazy, in my opinion. Maybe one's true, one is less true. But whatever you feel like is the right one is probably the correct one for you, because your heart has considered the eternity. Yeah, I think it's a cute idea. But also at the same time, even though Buddha was really good detaching from the world, which I think is a great thing to detach from the world and be able to separate from all the desires. You know why? Imagine being on a racetrack with a 1,200 horsepower car. How well would you be driving through a racetrack if you had no brakes? A car with 85 horsepower would beat you. It doesn't matter how much speed you have in this world. If you have no place of safe haven, of this solidarity in yourself, it is so hard to throw yourself into the rocks. Maybe that's something that Buddha teaches us, that it works really well. But also Buddha at the same time didn't just sit there for all eternity and die. He did teach his information to other disciples, which maybe hints us that maybe God's path is more truer in that sense. Or maybe that there's a combination of both ideas that could be brought into reality to make you a cooler dude.